Hello everyone, in this video I'll be giving you a build guide for Aang from Avatar the Last Airbender, and this is in Baldur's Gate 3. So, this is a pretty fun class. I've been coming up with some different ones for different characters, and since Fortnite has an Avatar the Last Airbender event right now, I thought I may as well do this one, because it's kind of similar to some other ones that I've planned, but here it is. Doesn't look fully like him. We don't have the arrow tattoo, but that was the best that I could with the options that were available. But for this, we're going to actually go in as a monk, which, I mean, you could kind of guess that. And now for our stats. This is where things are very important. So with this build, we're actually going to dump our strength a bit, dump charisma. Wisdom is going to be pretty important for us, as well as our dexterity and constitution. So ideally, somewheres around here would be where we'd be at. So either your constitution or wisdom, have it a little bit higher just for survivability's sake. And yeah, we're going to go with that for our dexterity. Not super optimal to have it on odd numbers, but we'll get into that in a moment here. So we're going to go with our build here. Now, we're going to go into the monk level 3 is where we get our big decision. We get more chi points, we get patient, defense, step of the wind, dash, and disengage. So that's quite nice, but this is where things get into becoming an Avatar the Last Airbender. So there's 3 subclasses. Way of the Open Hand is the best monk, but this is perfect for Aang, as the Way of the 4 Elements allows us to cast spells and do our punchy attacks. So we get to choose 3 spells here that are based off of other spells for different classes, but there's some that are unique, like Fangs of the Fire Snake is, this is some fire bending, and hit your foe from a fire, your next melee attack deals an additional 1d4 of fire damage, so we're going to go with that one there. So we got water, we have fire bending, air bending, rush of the gale spirits, summon a strong wind that clears all clouds and pushes creatures back 5 meters, forcing them off balance. This isn't the best, but it gives us the air bending, so we're going to go with this just for the theme of it. And then we also got water whip here, so there's 3 real easy ones that we can get, fire, air, and water covered. And you could also go with something like Fist of the Four Thunder. It's kind of considered an air one. Thunder damage is more so about the thunder instead of lightning, so if you want, you can switch that out. I like this because pushback is pretty huge. You can also go with like the Chromatic Orb or Sphere of Elemental Balance, which allows you to choose what type of damage you want to do. Or the Fist of the Unbroken Air, pushes the target back 6 meters. That can be another option. So one of these 3 here for air bending, fire bending, and then we got water bending. There's some other options that we're going to go with down the road, but that's what it's going to look like. We also get the Harmony of Fire and Water. While not in combat, regain half your key points rounded down. So we get into our next level here. Now, level 4. You can swap out spells as you level up, but I think that we can keep them the way that they are. Now, for our strength, we're going to go with Ability Improvement here. Take our Dexterity to 18 and Constitution. Round those off. 16 and 18 there, because that's how we get the Constitution modifier increase. So it takes our health from 31 to 35 at level 4, which is kind of nice just to be able to survive another 4 health. And at level 5, we get our extra attack. So you can make an additional free attack after making an unarmed attack. You also get Stunning Strike melee and Stunning Strike unarmed. So that gives you the ability to stun a target, which is nice. And then again, you can swap out your spells there if you want to. And at level 6, we're going to get another one here. So we also get Chi Empowered Strikes. Your unarmed attacks count as magical for the purposes of ignoring enemies' resistance and immunity to non-magical damage. What does this mean? If they have casted Blade Ward, you can punch through it, as it changes your damage type to not be resisted by that, which is pretty huge. It gives us some more options for just dealing with some foes. Now, we also get another... we get some more options here. So I think Clench of the North Wind, even though this is called wind, hold person, think of it like maybe earth bending. There's not like fantastic options for like earth bending in Baldur's Gate 3, but there's Gong of the Summit, which can be considered like an air bending one as a thunder damage. I really like Blade of Rime, but for the purpose of this build, it's not fantastic. If you set up water, this can deal double damage with the cold damage, which is kind of nice. Same as Chill with the Mountain, but we're going to go with Clench of the North Wind. This is a concentration. It's hold person. This is actually a really powerful spell to have, as it can stop an enemy entirely from moving, and then you just go up and hit critical hits on them. So that's quite nice. There are some other options here, but we'll pretend this is earth bending, holding someone down. Because again, there's not too many great options for that. So we're going to take that, and then into our next level, we get ourselves evasion. Your agility lets you dodge out of the way of certain spells. When a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity saving throw, it deals no damage if you succeed, and only half if you fail. Surviving more attacks. Stillness of mind. If you're charmed or frightened, you automatically cast Stillness of Mind to remove the condition, which is just nice to have for utility's sake, because that can really throw you off your jive there. And then for our level 8 feat that we can get, there's a couple different options. Now, the classic ability improvement is just great. We can up our dexterity to 20, or our constitution to 18, or our wisdom to 18. We can also go alert and give us a +5 to our initiative. Can't be surprised, which is quite nice. Now, there is another option that we can go with, and we could have done this a little differently earlier. We could go with Tavern Brawler and increase our constitution. And what Tavern Brawler does is it adds your strength modifier twice to attack rolls with melee attacks or unarmed attacks, improvised weapons, or throwing weapons. So this can be an option to go with. We could have taken this first and upped our constitution. But I do think that it might be better for us to go with something a little bit different. Another ability improvement is nice. Giving us more wisdom or more dexterity is quite great to have. And I guess for Aang, more wisdom kind of makes sense. So we're going to go with that. It's going to help out with our spell attack rolls too. So we also get at level 9 improved elemental casting. Your affinity with elemental chi deepens. Several of your 4 elements feature an additional dice of damage. Your Clench of the North Wind can hold an additional creature, so our whole person doubled up. Embrace the Inferno, or that does another ray of damage, so that's decent. We also get difficult terrain doesn't slow you down. You can jump an additional 6 meters while you're not wearing armor or using a shield, which is great. Mobility of this build is incredible. And for the Disciple of the 4 Elements, Embracing the Inferno can shoot another beam, which is nice to have. I think that for the purposes of this, Rush of the Gale Spirits just makes sense. I really wanted to take this, but I think having some other options for damage can be nice too, like having Shocking Grasp to give us electricity damage and advantage on creatures with metal armor and stop them from using reactions, because reactions can be quite devastating. So we're going to go with that, but Embrace of the Inferno is also good for another fire bending style spell, so go with either one of those that you prefer. It's really up to you what you think is going to be best, because this uses 3 chi points, whereas this only uses 1. I might just grab that one for the sake of it. More firebending's not bad to have for offensive. And at level 10, we get Purity of Body, immunity to poison, which is pretty nice. We get improved unarmed movement. Movement speed increased by 6 meters while you're not wearing armor. And yeah, that's what we get for that level. Now at level 11, we get another Disciple of the Elements, and we get ourselves a couple different really great ones. So we can get Ride the Wind, which gains the ability to fly. So just think of that as Aang flying around a little wind ball there. Mist Dance is pretty decent, but I do think there's better ones. And Flames of the Phoenix is great. Shoot a bright flame for your fingertips that explodes on contact, torching everything in the vicinity. Everyone loves a good fireball. Ride the Wind just makes sense though. Airbending, flying around. So we're going to go with that. And then we can also take Embrace of the Inferno off and then switch that out for... won't let us use a fireball. Never mind. So yeah, we'll just skip out on that there. We'll keep the fly as our one there. And at level 12, we get another feat. But there is another way that we can go about doing this. We could potentially add in cleric, because what that's going to give us is create water. Some more water bending. And I think it's nice to be able to set up water for other teammates, because water can deal incredible amounts of damage. Check out my Storm Sorcerer build if you want to see a build that can completely devastate the other team. But also gives us some healing spells, which is nice to have. Guiding Bolt. So you can add in the Cleric. We can go with the Life Domain for Bless, because that's just a really great spell to have overall. And Disciple of Life just gives you better healing. Or the Tempest Domain, which is going to give us Thunder Wave and Fog Cloud. And then on top of that, we're able to deal... I guess if we got level 2, we'd be able to deal a little bit more thunder damage, but you can use a reaction to strike back an attacking creature, dealing lightning or thunder damage. and thunder damage we can exchange as air damage. So we're going to go with this. But you can also go full level 12 into the monk. It's entirely up to you. Adding this in allows you to use heavy armor, which isn't useful for a monk because you want to have unarmed. You want to be unarmed as much as possible. So there's two different ways I mentioned we could go with this tavern brawler or adding in the cleric. So those are two great options that we can go with. To add in cleric, we're giving up the feat at level 12. So you got to decide if that's worthwhile for you. If you want to take the feat, increase your wisdom or dexterity. We're going to take this, though, as Sacred Flame's just a nice one to have. Guidance and then resistance. Tempest Domain to get some more thunder attacks. We can go with whatever deity here that we want. I don't know if there's really one that works well within the lore of the Avatar the Last Airbender. But for our spells, we're going to go with Create Water, obviously, Water Bending. Guiding Bolt's nice to have. Healing Word, so you can bring up down to allies from afar. Bless is great as well, because that's just one of the most effective spells in the early game spells to have. And we're going to take Command. Command Drop is super effective, and you can shut down enemies just by Command Drop, have someone grab their weapon, they don't have a weapon no more. So our spell attacks have got a +8. We're also using Wisdom for that, so that's perfect. And yeah, that's what we're going to go with for it. Now, what makes this build interesting is... Oh, we'll back out of that. What makes this build interesting is we're like a spellcaster in a sense. We only have 2 level 1 spell slots, so that's like Create Water. Create Water is really effective for setting up lightning damage. We also have Water Whip, which is cool. This gives us like the true water bending. Harmony of Water and Fire there. Now, we're going to be using for gear. The Helldusk Helmet is just great. Gives you the ability to see in darkness, +2 to saving throws against spells, and you can't be critically hit. And then you get Immolating Glaze. Some more fire bending. Cloak of the Weave, +1 to spell save CC and spell attack rolls. Absorb the elements, which is nice. Being able to attack with elements is great because we're going to be physically attacking sometimes. We're Open the Weave. This is just the one that looks the most like Avatar. We got a 21 armor class with this, though. That's pretty solid from our dexterity and from our wisdom. So +4 from dexterity, +4 from wisdom. And this would have been 22 if we would have taken another feat and increased it a little bit further. Gloves of the Soul Catching. These are really great. Unarmed attacks deal additional 1 to 10 force damage. And then on hit, once per turn, you can get 10 health points back or get advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the end of your next turn. And a +2 to Constitution. So that is quite nice. It keeps our health nice and topped up. If we look at our character sheet here, we got 18 Constitution, 18 Dexterity, 18 Wisdom. One of these could have been 20 had we not added in the Cleric, but I wanted to just because it adds some extra utility to our class. I'm also using the Evasive Shoes to give a +1 armor class in Acrobatics. Ring of Rejuvenation to heal us. Killer's Sweetheart, when you kill a creature, next attack roll will be a critical hit. And Amulet of Ball, inflict bleeding on targets. This can be swapped out. Something like Amulet of Greater Health is pretty nice to take our Constitution up a little bit higher. We could have dumped Constitution if that's the case. And then we're going to use the Marco Heshker. What this does is it gives you a +1 to spell save DCs and spell attack rolls. And it gives you Arcane Battery, which isn't super effective here. But we get Kareshka's Favor, which is the Dragon God. And then we can go and this is going to increase it adds our proficiency bonus to damage attack rolls. And we gain resistance to a damage type. The best two is Bolt of Doom, which is going to give us Chain Lightning, and where is it here? So the Bolts of Doom or Frost of the Dark Winter. So this is going to give you Cone of Cold and Ice Storm. I think it's best to go with Bolts of Doom, and what we can do, I'll just go through it here. So we're going to use Bolts of Doom, and then this will give us the ability to do Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning on top of that. So we're going to just do a quick little Create Water. So you just do this here. And then anyone in this area is going to take upwards of 160 damage from Chain Lightning because it's doubling the damage. So then we just go with our Chain Lightning and kill everyone there. So that is the Aang Avatar the Last Airbender build for Baldur's Gate 3. While this isn't the absolute best build in the world, it's fun for role-playing purposes. And Baldur's Gate 3, you could beat the game on Tactician with this build. It's not that difficult. You just got to know how to use the class right. So opening up with Clench of the North Wind and being able to cast that on 2 targets is really nice. You can start battles by creating water and that's kind of the best use of your spell slots here. We don't have many. We only have 2, and then our 12 chi points. So create water, start off with a chain lightning. Most things are going to be dead by that point. And then you can follow up with your other attacks. We got Fangs of the Fire Snake, which is the attacks with these are really cool. You can also pull or knock prone with the water whip there. We got the Fist of the Unbroken Air. There's lots of utility for our Aang here. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this build, if you'd change anything, and any suggestions for future builds, please let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And if you found this one useful, hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching.